Hello, here I created a gradebook reminder that consists of several worksheets. The grades worksheet will remind you when students' grades fall below 70, and the missing work worksheet reminds you when students have missing assignments and missing tests. Ultimately, what I do want to accomplish here is that every time I open the grade reminder workbook, I can see which students need to be informed or not passing and which students have missing assignments. Here I am in the main menu. Each of these macro buttons takes you to a different worksheet or performs a certain action. First, I will show you the instructions page by clicking on Instructions macro button. As you can see, here are the instructions on how to use the grade reminder. Then I'm going back to the main menu by clicking the main menu macro button here, or I can simply click the main menu tab at the bottom of this worksheet. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the grades macro button, and here's the grades worksheet, which consists of several tests and homework assignments of several students. To show you how this works, I will be entering values under test or homework that will make the student grade fall below 70. For example, I will enter A0 for student A under test 1, and notice how when I click on this cell you see instructions. I have also used data validation to ensure that what you enter in the cells fits the parameters that have been set so that you have accurate data in your spreadsheet. And here it says test 1 grades, enter a grade between 0 and 120. If I try to enter 1100, I get an error message here, error message test 1. The grade you entered is not a valid test 1 grade. I can either choose cancel or retry. I'm going to choose retry, and I will enter 0 so you can see what happens to the alert column in the grades worksheet. As you can see, the alert column for student A tells us that we need to remind the student that they're not passing. The cell will be highlighted as remind student in the blank box here with a light red fill and dark red text. In this column here, I have created the hyperlink feature for a send email reminder to students who have grades that fall below 70. There is one column to enter the email address. This column is for the send student reminder email. And the last column is the email message column that allows you to change or customize your email message. If you notice this %0A, it moves the second sentence to the second line. In other words, it creates a line break. Since a student has a remind student alert, I'm going to click the link here to send an email to the student. And you will notice the to field, the subject field, and the email message are already populated. I'm going to go ahead and hit send, and it will send the message to that email address. And if I open my email, you will see the message has been sent. Also notice that these two macro buttons here will either lock cells for grades or unlock cells for grades. The lock cells for grades will lock the cells for the grade column, the test average column, the homework column, and the alert column. If I try to enter data into this cell, this pop-up box appears with the alert message. The cell or chart you're trying to change is on a protected sheet. To make a change, unprotect the sheet. You might be requested to enter a password. Now this protects the cells with the formulas. And if you do need to unlock cells for grades in the grade worksheet, you can simply click on the Unlock Cells for Grades macro button, and you will now be able to make changes to the grade sheet. Next, I can either click on the worksheet tab named Missing Work, or I can click on the main menu tab and click on the Missing Work macro button. Because I had entered a 0 for test A, or for test 1 and student A, this will also create a missing work alert to remind students when they have missing assignments. As you can see, student A has a missing assignment for test 1. It is highlighted with a light red fill and dark red text. For this missing work worksheet, I have also created the hyperlink feature for send email reminder to students who have missing assignments. There is one column to enter the student email address. This includes the student email hyperlink, and this last column includes the email message column, which allows you to customize your email message. Since this student has a missing alert, you can click the link here, and Outlook automatically opens up with the two fields, the subject field and the email message populated. I hit send, and it will send the message to the email address. If I open up my email, you will see that that message has been sent. And each time that I update grades in the gradebook, it will also automatically update the alerts that I have set up for grades that fall below 70, for any missing assignments, and for any missing tests. So the next thing I'm going to do is click on the class test average. This takes me to the worksheet that contains a pivot table which displays the class test average for test 1 and test 2. It also includes a main menu macro button and an update test average macro button. Each time you update grades in the grades worksheet, you will need to click on the update test average macro button to update the class test average in the pivot table. It is important that you click on the update test average macro button each time that you enter new grades in the grade worksheet, otherwise the pivot table will be inaccurate. Now I'm going back to the main menu. There is also a clear grades macro button that I'm going to click on. As you can see, a pop-up box appears and it is asking me, are you sure you want to clear grades? You have the option to choose yes or no. I believe that this is a necessary feature to have on your Excel workbook or worksheet, because you don't want to accidentally erase all the grades, since you won't be able to undo this. For this one, I will click yes to show you what happens. This takes me to the grades worksheet, and it has definitely cleared all the grades for test 1 and 2, and it has cleared all the grades for homework 1, 2, and 3. As you can see, this grade reminder is very helpful if you're trying to keep track of all the students who have missing assignments or those students who have grades that fall below 70. And this is definitely something that I will be using myself, and it is something that I highly recommend you should consider using as well if you're teaching a class.